Hello everyone, I hope you are very much quite a wonderful, great day indeed, guys. Well, as you can see, guys, today is quite extremely cold, very quite extremely cold, and also very quite extremely raining. As you can see, guys, I'm also quietly wearing warm. As you can see, quietly wearing a blanket now. Not exactly showing off my t-shirt and anything else, but just also the jersey as well. Regardless of that, guys, I all hope you're staying warm, and I all hope you're staying warm and staying safe as well during during these cold times. And I all hope you're still exactly continue to doing exactly what you're doing as well. And I'm also very happy to hear that I'm also very happy to hear I'm also very quietly very happy to hear that you also quite guys that you also quietly feel heavily inspired by my goals and by my great creation of Ultimate Universe comics, to which I'm actually trying to bring back to life, and it has managed to shine a light on all of you guys. I'm very happy that it can actually shine a light on all of you guys as well. Despite that, also makes me very happy that it also brought some of you guys great inspiration, and it also makes me happy as well that it can also help you as well achieve your goals and help you understand that you can also achieve your dreams in any possible way. Regardless of that, guys, it truly means a lot to me that you guys supporting me and always exactly watching my episodes, from subscribers and from TikTok and from shorts and from long videos in YouTube. Means totally a lot. Keep pushing on your guys' side as well, and keep doing exactly what you guys are doing as well. Completely means a lot to me as well. Stay strong and stay positive and stay warm as well, and also stay happy. You guys got this. May God bless your day, and may He protect you in everything else you're doing. And keep well and keep strong. Love you and always appreciate your guys' support. And I always appreciate your guys' support, and keep doing what you guys are doing as well, no matter what. So on today's episode, one more thing. Sorry about for actually deceiving you guys on Monday, because I didn't actually know that Monday will be a holiday on a holiday. But I did upload the last week's episode on Friday on the long videos in YouTube. For those of you guys who actually haven't received it, you already have received it. You already have received it yesterday. So apologies on that front, and sorry for actually deceiving you. If I actually knew it was going to be holidays, I would have actually told you. Anyway, let me not exactly waste any more time for those of the shorts. So let's get back right on schedule. Excuse me. On today's episode, we're to speak about the mighty, invincible, ancient, powerfully shadowy ancient witches known as the Shadow Witches, who are very, very formidable dark witches, and who are very skillful in the dark arts of shadow manipulation and the power of darkness manipulation. Very ancient and very noble and very honored and very powerful, sadistic dark witches ever existed in the entire sacred universe, and throughout the entire sacred great nation's history. They are known to be one of the most vile, conniving, sadistic, cruel, and very benevolent and very benevolent and very ancient to their own way, due to the fact that their powers are solely connected with the natural environments of nature and its true application of powers of darkness and of shadow energy's true power and of wild energy in its true greatest good. The way that they're so very ancient is as if the ancient statues and the ancient languages are being sketched into the ancient dark temples and to the ancient ruins of the sacred great nations villages that have been quietly been destroyed throughout the sacred great nations greatest wars, clans, and all of that. And all of their statues, their pictures, their frames shows that they can give life to powerful dark creatures and to powerful dark hybrid creatures as well. The Shadow Witches are very evil incarnate, as the reincarnation cycle of their own sisterhood, and their kind of their bloodline of the dark shadow witch's bloodline is so rare and so unique and so potent to them that the magic itself they actually use makes them more extremely invincible and highly extremely immortal. Due to their great power of being immortal, they can able to understand the power, and they can able to respect true powers, true potential, and its true control over sacred society and of the rest of the entire sacred magic universe, to which their sole goal and plan was to create a nightmare universe of total shadow and oblivion of darkness, to create an army of dark monsters and of dark creatures and of dark an army of dark creatures and an army of dark monsters to rise from the precipice to take control of the entire sacred magic universe and of the rest of the entire sacred forest, so that the king of darkness can pledge it into further more into darkness than ever possible, so that his reign can remain supreme and also quietly invincible and formidable due to his power, due to his great power, due to his great power, and to his own gravity, he is very powerful and very ancient incarnate as well. So let's exactly precisely proceed on. During the ancient magical wars, within the actual 15th century, the great fairies of the entire sacred magic universe heard the great rumors that the mighty shadow witches might be back from the precipice of the shadows to bringing an army of great dark monsters and great dark creatures to beginning to lay waste. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. What actually happened was that the King of Darkness's followers, known as his acolytes, began summoning creatures of pure darkness and of pure utter root and nature incarnate in order for these creatures to begin wreaking havoc on a larger scale. The war between fairy and creature and monsters began turning out into an ancient dark magical war that the forces of the shadows were literally watching and literally orchestrating it from behind the scenes. During the great century of this war, the great four nation hunters and the great six nation hunters learned that there are powerful, mysterious forces highly at work within the shadows of the entire sacred society, more dangerous and more benevolent and more powerful incarnate they ever possibly able possibly to ever imagine. More especially closely highly ranked, closely the highest ranked official monsters and creature in power, and closer to the original Lord of Magic, and closer to the founders and to the Omega founders as well. With this, they were able to learn that there are deadly, marvelous shadowy forces at work, and also quietly behind the scenes of all the wars that have been orchestrated by them. The Dark Magic War during its great century was one of the most powerful, benevolent wars spoken throughout fairy history and throughout witch history and throughout druid history and throughout warlock history and throughout Seven Nation Hunter history. That the fact that it was quietly spoken up so badly that none of the other magical creatures or hybrid creatures or new breed creatures were never able to so afraid to speak about it due to the fact that they knew that there was a deadly threat highly working behind the shadows of the entire sacred magic universe itself as well. During the medieval century, when the mighty King of Darkness plunged the entire ancient sacred enchanted forest into utter darkness, into utter damnation, he really managed to make an ancient and powerful alliance of a pact with the mighty Shadow Witches before he actually disappeared and was rumored to be dead, or either rumored to be dead completely, before the rumors quietly surfaced that he was quietly dead, or that he quietly vanished out of nowhere. He managed to form an ancient pact with the most powerful witches, known as the Shadow Witches, to securing the rightful position and place in the entire sacred magic universe, for them to rule the entire sacred forest so that they can use its resources and unlimited power of magic and energy and trying to siphon it in order to create dark and powerful ancient energy of their own, which will be able to dispel the energy that they've already quietly reversed with shadow energy, which was wild energy, so that in doing so they could benefit more resources, more sleeper agents, greater resources, and more greater sleeper agents for their goals and for their mission to successfully bear fruit, and for them to becoming mortal godlike queens and mortal godlike goddesses who will reign supreme over the entire sacred magic universe and conquering the entire sacred world and the rest of the sacred great nations, with the King of Darkness permanently taking a leave of absence and leaving his younger brother to deal with the fallback, to which he knew precisely that he will take control of the leadership of their people and of the rest of their descendants while he's quietly disappearing, knowing that his power has finally grown to its fullest potential. Everything is now in place to the way they're supposed to be, as the Shadow Witches agreed. That will be good enough for them to know that their partnership and their alliance has been strengthened due to them helping each other and assisting each other more preemptively than ever before as well. During the great centuries, the Shadow Witches managed to make a connection. The Shadow Witches managed to make a very powerful, interesting connection with the Shadow Sisters, who are closely related to them, through the ancient, powerful descendant of their kind and of their ancestors, because the Shadow Witches and the Shadow Sisters are one more like the same, like the Time Witches to the Dark Sisters. They are more likely one more like of the same, because they are also like distant cousins and distant relative due to their pure strain of their dark magical bloodline, and they're so powerful and so rare throughout Warlock history and throughout Druid history as well. The Shadow Sisters exactly told the Shadow Witches that they will help them by giving them and providing them intimate and infinite dark knowledge than ever before, while they in return give them the power and the expertise of powers, giving them the power and the expertise to providing them mercenaries and assassins for their ultimate quest, so that they can begin their sole mission and preparation. To which the leader of the Shadow Witches began to agree, then that will be good enough for them, because they really have all the intimate knowledge. All they need to do is for them to find a way to use it and to find a way to use it and to expel it to its fullest extent. And that is when they all precisely agree with their own distant and more powerful, formidable ancient relative of their kind, known as the Shadow Sisters, to which I'll tell you about another day and another different time. So just be prepared for that as well. During the great centuries, the Shadow Witches managed to make a very powerful, interesting connection with one of the most powerful elite Shadow Empire warlord, who was quietly rumored to be dead, throughout the Shadow Empire's history, and they managed to exactly salvage his entire faction, and they managed to exactly resuscitate him, managed to resuscitate him and bring him back to life. In return, he offered to remain as a loyal servant and as a loyal eyes and ears throughout the entire Shadow Empire, to which the leader of the Shadow Witches was able to be highly pleased, telling the Shadow Empire warlord that they will give him more power and more formidable technology than ever before, compared to what the Dark Druids and the Dark Seekers and the Dark Witches and the Dark Faithful are doing under the current leadership of Amber, the Goddess of Power, or better known by a better name, the Witch of Power. Better known by a better name, the Witch of Power, which they are also too powerful as well for them to go into confrontation with them as well, which will create a fraction within the Shadow Empire itself, and legions and loyalties will be scattered and fractured out of nowhere, creating a huge confusion, despite the leadership of the Shadow Empire being under the control of the original Lord of Magic, to which it cannot exactly happen. Not now, not exactly ever. To which the other members of the Shadow Witches begin to agree with the leader that it's best to keep one Shadow Empire warlord within the Shadow Empire ranks to remain their eyes and ears while they begin their full preparations of their goals and of their mission as well. During the near end of the Great Centuries, the Shadow Witches managed to make a very powerful, interesting connection with the Sacred Council, with the members of the Sacred Council, with the members of the Great Sacred Council of the Sacred Great Nations, to which they offer them the expertise and a power and a greater unique set of skills, to which the members of the Sacred Council of the Sacred Great Nations offered them, to give them dark, powerful, mysterious elite followers known as the Dark Druids, the Dark Witches, and the Dark Faithful, to remain as their faithful, loyal servants and as their greatest followers, because according to them, they will become also too powerful and too dangerous not to be taken lightly, and they'll remain unpredictable. The leader of the Shadow Witches agreed that with those followers at their leadership, they will remain highly trained and highly gaining greater expertise and knowledge and experience under their sole leadership, to which each member of the Shadow Sisters does possess a darker, unique ability of controlling dark magic and the power of the dark arts that is completely unknown to these dark new magic users of the generation that has come now, and they're willing to give them the proper guidance and a proper dark training that they can receive expert dark magical combat, which will help them improve their teleportation, super speed, the power of creating and conjuring dark magical abilities of lightning, electricity, and the power of opening dark portals, to which they'll be able to grant them those more formidable techniques and more formidable powers. To which the members of the Sacred Council agreed, then that is all they needed to hear, because in return they will provide them the unique expertise and services, as long as they deal and the partnership remains the same. To which they all precisely agreed on that as well. On the actual within the actual later years, the Shadow Witches managed to make a very powerful, interesting connection with the members of the White Scientist after the incident of the nano energy has really taken place. The members of the white scientists exactly told the members of the shadow witches that nano energy is very powerful and very, very ancient. It's not like shadow energy that has an ultimate price of it to be paid. Once it gives you the power of immortality, you become a godlike being destined to remain immortal forever in that form for eternity and forever. To which the leader of the shadow witches exactly told the leader of the members of the white scientists, then that is all they need to know. The power of attaining true immortality and the power of curing diseases, illnesses, to which they can do with ease. But with nano energy, they must be the ones being control of it, and they know exactly how to utilize this energy's true potential and power, not just become godlike and goddesses beings, but rather to use it as a weapon of mass catastrophic destruction, because their goal and purpose it needs to begin taking its place. And the members of the white scientists begin to agree that they have a way to help them facilitate the goal, as long as they have the expertise and then they're giving them the great dark knowledge that they need to study the power of becoming immortal, godlike beings like their species and like their kinds themselves. To which the other members of the shadow witches begin to agree that could actually prove very beneficial for them to have powerful ancient allies like these humans who are dedicated to the cause of the sacred universe and to the rest of sacred societies, wars, and everything else. The leader of the shadow witches exactly told the leader of the white scientists that they must never speak about the sacred worlds, wars, or anything else to the rest of humanity, because once they know about that, the forces on the other side of the sacred universe are going to come and begin an all-out war upon mankind, to which that war will result in humanity's greatest and most powerful downfall, and that will disrupt their plans and their catastrophic results that they're willing to exactly facilitate behind the scenes. To which the leaders of the members of the white scientists begin to agree, because they will also need to benefit the infinite knowledge that they need to get. So they have agreed to keep the sacred world's existence to themselves, knowing the price of anyone else knowing about them will suffer a fate far worse than death. And it's meant to be kept a secret because the hidden universe is on the brink of collapsible war due to its greater age of dark forces and good, and the greater forces of good that are frequently collaborating, that are frequently clashing over each other for peace and for darkness and for war and for power and all of that, to which they all understood the circumstances and the consequences now being stolen upon their own kind. On the actual precise day of the 9th of March, the members of the Shadow Witches began to reconvene in a dark ancient cave, to which held ancient dark mythical crystals of monsters, trolls, beings, half warlock, Phoenician hunter, half druid, witch creature, half ancient, powerful, unknown creature, ancient text and ancient translation of how to use summoning abilities or powers of summoning a powerful giant eagle creature and a powerful giant unknown troll monster, a giant rhinoceros creature that has 3 heads, and a powerful unknown monkey, a powerful unknown hybrid creature of a monkey that has the ability of creating major disasters of its own, in a very sinister, powerful dark elephant that possesses enormous energy of life force and the destructive power of destroying buildings and all of that. The leader of the shadow witches and all the other members reappeared in a dark shadowy astral projection of themselves, where the leader exactly told the members of the entire group that the mighty original Lord of Magic has died, and that his death is now the full penalty for all of them, and that his death is completely the most saddest of all. Despite him being the most too powerful being throughout the entire sacred history, he was one of the most greatest and one of the most kindest members to exactly respect them for who they are. And all the other members began to agree that the original Lord of Magic may become a bad being, or may become a dark force of pure evil, but he was, after all, completely understanding of what's exactly like to live on the outskirts of sacred society and on the outskirts of sacred society and being given such a huge responsibility of taking care of the own kind of their own kind and of the rest of the people. But despite that, his true goal and darkness goal did serve a very, 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 very useful lesson and a very, very useful, powerful lesson and a greater lesson that annihilation for all species must exactly happen in order for the new species to begin taking its rightful place at the center of the entire cosmic force of the universe, to which they all understood now that their goals are now fully aligned with the original Order of Magic's goals, despite that his different objective was far different to theirs, but they're willing to utilize that goal and they're willing to take a piece from the page of his book, to which all the other members agreed. And the leader exactly told them that now they're moving back to phase 2, and meaning phase 2, the orchestration must begin right away as well. On the actual precise day of the 13th of April, the members of the Shadow Witches all exactly remain within a dark reflection of their shadowy astral projection in an ancient and powerful dark purple temple where it held ancient, powerful, mythical dark energy of shadow energy, not in its darkest form, rather in its pure form, rather like light purple energy, some sort of color in the middle of it. They are all quietly, they dark reflection of the shadowy astral projection, all exactly circle around the energy as the leader began making her full appearance and began telling the members it's time for them to begin the full participation of the ancient ritual, to which they all began combining their thoughts and their powers and focusing and synchronizing their energies and their soul perspectivity on shadow energy's true power, and begin to try to upload the energy and try to expelling it across the entire sacred magic universe, so it can enter the entire sacred dark forest of its own, to utilizing the dark forest's true dark magic energy so that they could use the power to creating unknown monsters and creatures. But the process was quietly thwarted though, due to the interference of the most powerful ancient hunters known as the Light Hunters, were able to arrive in the nick of time to thwart the dark ritual before it could go any further and before the power could expand even further, from destroying the entire sacred magic universe's forest and all of its entire ancient magical forms and structures and kingdoms before it could go any further, because that power would have definitely expelled to a larger, greater distance, wiping out everything in its true proximity, which is why the Shadow Witches were testing the might of the power itself. But the Light Hunters stopped the catastrophic event from going any further, and they decided to track the energy source right to its pinpoint source. But due to the witches being very, very ancient and very, very powerful, they were able to conceal the energy and their signature and the detection powers, as well as a base of operation as well, from the Light Hunters, knowing how very skillful they are and how very ancient as well they are in order to tracking down the most powerful forces. The leader told the members to withdraw from the ritual, and that the Light Hunters have quietly intercepted part of the ritual's progress, and they managed to stop the energy from coming back to them, meaning in other words that the Light Hunters are about to become a huge problem compared to the universal heroes who are not meant to be underestimated, making sure that the allies are also not to be taken lightly. As all the other members agree, it's time to initiate the next step of the goal and the next step of the plan, as they all begin to speak about that, realizing the calamity of the threat that they pose to their true ancient activities as well. On the actual precise day of the 12th of May, the leader of the Shadow Witches was able to reconvene with the ancient dark druids, and dark witches and dark faithful on an ancient dark crystal temple, to which the ancient hideout of the dark temple was quietly within the ancient cave, quietly fully glamored and protected by fully protected by the invisible spell of dark magic, making sure that the detection and the entire presence were quietly unseen as well. During the meeting, she told the dark druids and the dark witches and the dark faithful that it's time for them to begin their mission and their true activity if they're willing to remain under their current leadership status, and that they must do it exactly as they tell them to. The leader of the dark druids and the leader of the dark witches and the leader of the dark faithful all stepped in front of the entire group of their people, and exactly reassured the leader of the shadow witches they are willing to follow every order and every command that the mighty ancient shadow witches are willing to give, and they're willing to move forward with the goal. And the leader of the shadow witches began telling the dark magic users that this is now the goal, as she begins planning out piece by piece, and she was talking to the dark magic users psychically and exactly telling them in a telepathical plan, telling them in a telepathical language that this goal will be inevitable and that it must go according to the plan. As they all agreed, then she begins exactly telling them the plan step by step as well. On the actual precise day of the 21 of June, the dark druids and the dark witches and the dark faithful began actually besieging an entire magical college of witches, druids, and fairies and warlocks all together. The college itself was quietly relocated. Closer to the ancient seven seas, which was quietly concealed by magical fog, making sure that it was quietly undetected by human presence. But humans can't exactly see anything cloaked of magical, and they can't exactly see the magical cloaked of a fog or anything else, just the fog itself. Not realizing that there was something behind the fog itself, which makes the college itself highly remain invisible and also highly remaining undetected, making sure that the legends of the fairies, witches, and druids was never real, as all the other creatures' existence also remain quietly unreal towards humanity, protecting themselves and protecting the secrecy and the entire hidden universe's wars and the world itself from the hidden universes, or realizing that the threats and the forces and the ancient powerful organizations are literally too dangerous and too powerful to be taken lightly, and also too dangerous to be taken lightly, and very well quietly not making the same mistake in underestimating their capabilities and their powers as well. During the attack, the magical forces of good were forced to fight up against the magical forces of the dark forces of darkness once and for all, which turned out into a dark magical powerful war of dark magic and of light magic, completely at confrontation with each other, as the universal founders were just at the right time and at the right place, where the allies of the universal heroes were forced to exactly fight up against these dark and powerful magic users, realizing that the dark magic users have gained new power and new abilities so quickly and so faster. The leader of the universal founders began telling the other fairies and the other magical creatures to combine their hands and converge their power altogether to blast these dark magical forces away, to which they exactly just did that as well. The dark forces were forced to retreat, to which they exactly did so. The leader of the universal founder exactly told the rest of the allies of the members of the universal heroes that these dark forces have gained new powers and new techniques so quickly, which proves that there's a new leader or a new dark high priestess training them behind the scenes. The good question is, who could it be? As the fairies begin telling the members of the universal founders that they are also quietly surprised that they were able to gain new fast abilities compared to them unable to gain them in such a very, very fast rate, and that they're able to adapt and evolve so quickly and so faster, which means that they're advancing very fast, and they're highly evolving very quickly, to which they all agreed that it's time for them to learn new techniques of controlling pure energy, of foundation energy and its true power, to which the other warlocks agreed that they may have found the lighter way than to taking the dark path, to which corrupted Laurel and made him the thing that he became, known as the original Order Magic, to which the members of the Universal Founders told the magical creatures they don't want to take the same path and the dark path that the original Order Magic took. They want to take the lighter way, where no matter how hard and no matter how many times it will take, it's worth it in order to defeat the powerful dark forces. As they all agreed, then this is exactly what they'll precisely be able to do as well. On the actual 14th of July, the dark druids and the dark witches were able to reconvene with the members of the shadow witches, on an ancient powerful intergalactic planet, that is quietly filled by ancient criminals, of alien tyrants, warlocks, creatures, beings that are quietly being thrown away from their very worlds and star systems. Some are known as great champions, some are known as merciful conquerors, others are known as the dreaded dark conquerors of all 96 star systems that they managed to conquer for the last few decades and centuries during the great sacred wars and intergalactic wars that have been raining down upon the entire sacred universe as well. They were able to reconvene within the intergalactic chamber, to which houses ancient statues and holograms of powerful creatures and worlds and planets upon itself as well, to which the leader of the Shadow Witches exactly told the dark magic users that they did very well attacking the college, to which now they were able to gain a clear perspectivity on the sole mission of their purpose. Now they can begin their full realization in understanding the allies of the members of the Universal Heroes, to which the dark magic users or their followers exactly told them that their powers have never been so powerful, not ever since they've been under the current leadership of Amber, but they never knew that they were also this powerful in controlling dark magic and its shadowy powers in its greater expectation. The leader of the Shadow Witches were showed the dark magic users that under their current leadership, their powers are going to just do more than just evolve. They're going to highly gain more abilities every time and every day, and they will fully adapt to a higher rate than ever before, closer to the ancient origin species that the great original Aura magic able to wipe them out. So which means, in other words, that their powers are evolving and they're adapting with a very powerful technique, to which it'll open many doors for them as well. And in doing so, it'll give them a better chance to standing an even match against their greatest enemy, to which they are precisely good enough as well. On the actual 10th of August, the members of the Shadow Witches were able to reconvene with the members of the White Scientists on an abandoned power plant, on an actual abandoned power plant within Earth's cities and borders, to where they were able to speak with the members of the White Scientists through the shadowy dark reflection of their hologram, to which remains within abandoned power plants, to which they actually remains within abandoned power plants, shadowy hideout spots, where they were able to speak, exactly speak completely. The leader of the White Scientists exactly told the leader of the Shadow Witches and the members that they are fully ready for the experimentation. And the leader of the Shadow Witches gave the scientists the go-ahead that they must begin effectively immediately. Now, more than ever, it's time for the experiment to begin taking its place, as they're all precisely good in that as well. On the actual 13th of September, the leader of the Shadow Witches was able to reconvene with the ancient King of Darkness on an ancient dark mythical cave, and exactly told him that they are ready for the experiment to be getting its full utilization through her dark shadowy astral projection of herself, to which the King of Darkness exactly told the mighty ancient Shadow Witch that they're ready to begin. But before that they can actually depart, the leader of the Shadow Witches represented the new candidate who's ready to begin the full infusion of nano energy, which will become an ancient godlike being. And the new candidate exactly reassured the King of Darkness that he's willing to serve and become a full high-ranking member of the organization that he's fully heavily affiliated with, to which he's willing to help the organization fulfill its glorious goals and full godlike purposes, to which the King of Darkness exactly told the leader of the Shadow Witches that he's very pleased and very happy that the alliance itself has remained stronger for the past few ancient centuries, and that the partnership still holds the purpose, as she began to assure them that they will always remain friends no matter what, and that they do serve a common interest and a common ancient goal that they must fulfill, and they all precisely agree on that as well. On the actual precise day of the 12th of November, the members of the White Centers were able to reconvene with the Shadow Witches on an ancient abandoned laboratory, to where the members of the Shadow Witches were all able to represent themselves during the dark reflection of their shadowy astral projection, when the members of the White Scientists told them that the members of the Universal Water Heroes, or the members of the Universal Founders, intervene on the experimentation, destroying the machine in a process as well. To which the leader of the Shadow Witches exactly reassured the White Scientists that they managed to gather as much intelligence and power that the infusion worked just the way they wanted it to work, and the interference was worth in order for their allies to test the new might of their godlike abilities and of their power. Now that that's completely done, the next stage of the plan can involve making them the next new candidates to becoming supreme immortal godlike beings, and help them conquer humanity and the entire world and place it under their sole control, for them to stopping wars, famine, poverties, and eliminating sickness, cancer, and all of those diseases, by making sure that their will is now going to be the will of their own mortal ways, to which will soon help them utilize a catastrophic technique that will prevent all calamities from rising from all sides. as the leader of the white scientists began to understand now what needed to be done as well. On the actual precise day of the 14th of December, the members of the Shadow Witches were all able to reconvene on a dark, ancient cave, to where they all stood at the hands of an ancient, dark, mythical monster statue creature in a shadowy astral projection, to which the cave itself was quite in a hidden, disclosed location, where the leader exactly told the members that everything is now in full preparation, that they must begin for the full recitation of the ritual, and they all begin to agree that they're ready to complete the next step of the goal once and for all. On the actual precise day of the 11th of January, the members of the Shadow Witches were all able to reconvene together in a dark, shadowy astral projection to begin a full resurrection of an ancient, dark, mythical Shadow Empire ancestry warlord who is known to become half warlock, half druid, half werewolf, half vampire, bearing all the ancient supernatural species in his bloodline, all the ancient supernatural species that they all exactly knew that it could be possible for the Shadow Empire creatures and beings to fully becoming closer with the other creatures of the entire sacred universe as well. During the process, Universal Magical and the members of the Universal Magic Heroes were able to intervene during the ritual, to which they were able to storm the entire Hadron and create an incursion with the allies of the Four Nation Hunters, as Universal Magical began to realize through the shadowy dark reflection of the astral projection that these are ancient, powerful, dark, mythical witches known as the Shadow Witches, and she was trying to attack the ancient dark reflection, but the ancient dark reflection told them that the work and the ritual and the process of it has been done. It served its purpose. He is now restored back to its full form, and he's fully revived and back in power, and now he's back in play. Before the body could move, his eyes began to go a purple violet color and begin changing color to an animal Irish color, showing that his powers are not just supernatural based powers and immunities, that he's gained the power of natural power and the power of natural energy and the power of shadow energy and the power of shadow power and the power of shadow energy and the power of nano infusion, due to him combining the energies and the elemental energies all together in one and infusing them all together in one within his body. But after, when the body began moving on its own, he told the shadowy astral projection holograms to disappear. He'll be the one to deal with the threats that he's completely facing, to test his new might and newfound power. The Universal Magic Heroes were forced to fight up against this new vile threat of evil, to which they completely did, but at the cost of the cave collapsing and being destroyed in a process of its own. The new threat exactly warned them that the Shadow Witches are not meant to be taken lightly, and it would be wise not to take them lightly. And he completely teleported himself away, as Universal Magical began to realize that these are the ancient ones, that those other witches, those other human witches from Earth known about during the entire whole life, and the other witches who come from the sacred magic universe know very well that the Shadow Witches are not just only the distant sisters, but they are the worst, and they are the worst and the unpredictable ones, that they can never be taken lightly as well. On the 14th of February, the leader of the Shadow Witches was able to tell the other members to reconvene on a dark cave, to where they all exactly reconvene on a dark cave, to where an ancient torch was lighting up, to where an ancient torch was quite in full green power, was more like of a green lightest torch, and the other one was quite more like of an orange torch color, to which he was able to tell the members throughout the dark reflection that the process worked well, and that he has returned and he's back to begin his soul plan, while the other exactly told the other members that what about the ancient vessel, the original Lord of Magic, was about to transfer his subconscious into the vessel's body, that one could be the ultimate evil they've never exactly faced. The leader reassured the members that a powerful calamity is about to emerge, and that they must place themselves at the right time and at the right positioning when that calamity or that catastrophic event is about to take place. Manipulating the battle and the wars will be very, very, very crucial for them in order to gaining power and influence throughout the entire structure of all many other star systems and many other sacred great nations, and process to which it'll further they plan and the final phase of creating a catastrophic event that will not just change the power balance and also the natural balance, but it will also change the game plan of the war and of the wars against evil, and against good versus evil, and against hero versus villain, and against bad versus good, light versus dark. Everything of that will change to its true trajectory as they all begin to understand the full scope of the plan that they managed to begin, the plan that they're beginning to fully orchestrate many ancient centuries ago as well. On the actual 17th of March, the leader of the Shadow Witches was able to reconvene with the mighty King of Darkness and with the great ancient hybrid, with the great ancient new hybrid Shadow Empire warlock or creature that embodies all the other supernatural species and DNAs of all the other creatures of the sacred world societies, and exactly able to tell them that they're ready to begin with the finalization of the goal. And the members of the White Scientists are now eager to get their hands and obtain the power of nano energy, to where the other ally exactly told the leader of the Shadow Witches that they must do that right away, because they need them to becoming the very beings and the very ancient mortal beings that they're destined to become. And so that the King of Darkness, now that the organization's goals are moving accordingly, that the alliances have been restored to the oldest, powerful, ancient collaborators and mysterious associates and allies, now they can begin with the goal. And they must never make a mistake in taking the universal founders and underestimating the members of the universal heroes and of the world heroes and of the members of the United Heroes, and taking the abilities lightly. It cannot happen again. And they all precisely agree on that, because now they've learned a new lesson and they know that they have a plan of their own. Before the astral projection began to disappear, the new mysterious member began to exactly reveal herself from the shadow and we're showing the three allies that she has a plan in place to deal with the heroes, and all of that will come to bear fruit, one which it will soon pave a way for them to many, the dominant and powerful rulers of the entire ancient sacred universe, and of the golden universe, Mixel universe, robotic universe, star universe, dark universe, over universe, light universe, solar universe, energy universe, power universe, decayed universe, dead universe. All of those other ancient universes will now be at their sole control, and the allies and then most powerful collaborators will be the ones in charge of everything. But first thing is first, they must destabilize all the other ancient organization, and they must make sure that Universal Man's power is never put inside the ancient monster statue, so that the other organizations could use its ancient origin powers for them to become mortal godlike beings, in order to reversing the plan and the process that they've been planning all this time. To which they all precisely agreed that he has a plan of its own, and the leader of the Shadow Witches began to entrust that the plan will go on to your return, which they all began to agree on that as well. Despite this, guys, the Shadow Witches are very invincible, very powerful, very ancient, very highly intelligent, bearing the power of super intelligences. They are very beautiful in nature, also very merciless and very ruthless, but they're also very powerfully skilled, the power of dark arts and the power of forbidden techniques as well, with the power of teleportation, levitation, conjuring energy, super speed, immortality, long gravity, dark ability, the power of great teleportation, summoning, resurrection, controlling environments, natural energy power controlling, the power of changing their eyes or their color, shadowy astral projection, conjuring, to which they can project a piece of their body, to which they can conjure a projection of themselves, instead of them actually being physically there for themselves as well, and the power of great summoning monsters, creatures, animals, beings more powerful and more dangerous than ever know. The power of camouflage, stealth, disappearing, reappearing at will, and the power of telepathic immunities, the power of telepathic and supernatural immunities, and the power of great telekinesis, levitation, flight, and the power of great dominant, and the power of great creating dark, magical, ancient energy rituals of their own. Detection, the power of great detection, the power of sensory perception. They can sense and detect a threat from a mile away. They've also gotten used to the power of hiding their energy and their powers from being detected by other powerful members of the Universal Heroes, such as Universal Magical, the Light Hunters, the Four Nation Hunters, the other ancient dark magical users who are also trying to work against them as well, showing that they are very resourceful, highly dark and highly influential, very highly powerful, and very highly skillful in the power of art and of dark forbidden techniques of utilizing nature creation, art creation, duplication creation, illusion creation, the power of summoning ancient powerful mythical monster statue, nature absorption, and the power of wood, fire, electricity, water, mist, and sand, dust, and invisibility power and cloaking perception, invisibility power as well. They are solely skillful with those powers and of the power of great transfusion and of learning and adapting to new environments with ease. They're highly knowledgeable and very, very highly dangerous and very, very highly dangerous and very highly resourceful. And they possess a dark thirst for knowledge, and they possess a dark purpose and a dark mission of gaining more immense power than ever before, and using that immense power to control the entire sacred magic force of its own. They formed an ancient and powerful, formidable alliance with the ancient king of darkness, to the one that I actually told you about in the previous episode. You'll find it on TikTok, on Shorts, and also on YouTube as well. If you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, you'll find this episode there as well. Despite this, guys, their alliance has made their partnership and their friendship stronger, and it also strengthens their alliance to even extent to the extent that the extent that the Shadow Witches alliance with the King of Darkness also goes to the organization itself as well, giving them the resources and more power than ever before. The resources of sleeper agents and powerful dark mercenaries, of assassins, skillful supervillain assassins, super criminals, deadly powerful invisible super criminals who escaped the astral prison under the current leadership of Professor War, who's a secret member of an ancient secret criminal organization known as the Founders, to which they all collaborate together, working together as partners, but silently in a distant way, in order to making sure that their secrecy remains secretive. Warlord Starr is also quite in the middle of this partnership, to which he also uses his secret connection to making sure that the Shadow Witches and the organization themselves get more resources and more power. They learn through the hard way that the members of the Universal Heroes can never be underestimated due to their abilities in thwarting the operation and all of that, and the allies, who are the members of the United Heroes, the World Heroes, the members of the Universal Magic Heroes, and the members of the Universal Founders. That they learn that they are very, very, very highly persistent, and very, very highly relentless to stopping them from creating a catastrophic event. And due to this, they gain an experience understanding how they work and how they operate as well, and they forming formidable, powerful alliances of alliances with the white scientists, who are a very powerful, sinister group of humans who have dedicated themselves to understanding the power and the physiology of nano energy compared to understanding the power of shadow energy, to which they know that shadow energy has a dark price and an ultimate price to pay, and the price of it is not good at all. Nano energy, however, doesn't have a price to pay. It grants you the power of remaining an immortal, godlike being, and you remain immortal, godlike being for eternity and forever, granting you immense supernatural gifted powers of superhuman abilities as well, to which they are trying to obtain and acquire. And furthermore, to eradicating diseases, famine and poverty and wars and all of that in a process, to controlling human society and the sacred world society in a process, and then conquering the entire known universe. And the Shadow Witches have known to have the power of remaining patient and remaining focused on their sole goal and on their sole activity, and the power of shapeshifting, transformation, color of their eyes changes as well as the color of their skin, which becomes animal frictionary coloring eyes, showing that they obtain the power of natural power and the power of natural nature energy, and the power of great powerful nature's powers, and the gifted power of stealth, and the gifted power of full cooperation, to which makes them highly dangerous and more highly invincibly powerful. Due to them remaining highly immortal and highly living throughout the following centuries in ancient time, they've gained the power of maintaining the individual bases as well as their hideouts, to which there are many dozens of them, as well as their central headquarters, which is an entire ancient dark castle of a dark world, to where they ruled and conquered with an iron fist, maintaining the entire position in the entire sacred dark magical world's wars and all of their presence, focusing the dark purpose of their goals and of their mission in a very most secretive way, helping other alien tyrants, warlords, conquerors, powerful alien tyrants who've been driven off worlds from their own people and from their own kind, so they can help them reclaiming them, to which helps the Founders and the members of the Order of the Five to furthering their goal. So you see, guys, this works two-way street. They help the others, and the others help them in return, to which benefits them more furtherly, and they gain immense power and immense influential knowledge, to which they are so driven to possess. And they do possess a dark purpose of a mission, to controlling and creating catastrophic event to which will benefit the sacred society and the rest of the sacred great nation. And they know that universal man's power is needed for the monster statue, for it to absorb it, so that one of the ancient members of the other ancient criminal organization will become the host, so that he can transform into a godlike being and begin his full ancient dark mission and purpose of eradication and of annihilation. And they learn that the members of the Order of Power and the members of the Order of Death and the members of Sinister Magic, who are also led by powerful ancient students of the original World of Magic, are very powerful and also very dangerous, and not to take them lightly, rather to form an alliance with them, to which the Shadow Sisters have agreed to advise their own sisters, their distant sisters as well, to forming an alliance with them, making sure that the organization remains stronger and creating more agents and more sleeper agents within the intergalactic code of the Four Nation Hunters, in order to create a friction throughout the entire supernatural community and the rest of sacred society. Due to this, they are very, very, very persistent and very resourceful. The leader of the Shadow Witches shares a greater fascination result of the leader of the Universal Founders and of the leader of the Universal Magic Heroes, known as Universal Magical, respecting them and exactly telling them that they never found a worthy opponent such as them, showing that she respects those who completely are persistent and who respect them for who they are, meaning that she respects those who are worthy of their time and taking the time to fighting up against them as well. The Shadow Witches have shown to have the power of great sensory, and the power of great transformation, and the power of learning and seeing things beyond time and space itself, also hiding and cloaking their dark dimensions in their own kingdom, in their own dark kingdoms of their worlds, to which is ruled by monsters, warlocks, creatures, protecting them in the presence of the entire sacred universe's wars, and using the army that they've already created to conquer the entire sacred enchanted forest of the entire sacred magic universe, to which they have an army of dark monsters, an elite army of natural dark creatures and monsters, compared to the ones of the sacred natural countries that they really have at their disposal, to them forming an alliance with the dark ancient evil monarchy of the entire world itself, of the entire ancient world itself, in order for them to gain more power and more forbidden techniques, such as the art technique, creation technique, shadow creation, nature creation, dark technique, projection technique, mind technique, controlling technique, hypnosis technique, the power of super speed, the power of vampire hearing, sensory detection, super limping. All of those abilities and all of those powers have been gifted to each member, but the leader is more powerful, ancient, more dangerous, possesses the driven, godlike, and goddesses more powerful, invincible ability than ever known. And the legendary King of Darkness respects her for that, and she and he respects each other, due to their partnership being strengthened over the following centuries and over the following decades as well, showing that they are ancient and they are very powerful. They can speak ancient languages. They have supernatural immunities, powers, and gifted abilities and forbidden techniques of manipulating natural resources of environments, worlds, planets, monsters, creatures, and an army and elite group of followers at their disposal, showing that they are very powerful teachers and very powerful high priestesses who work in the shadows and who also form formidable alliances with the Shadow Empire warlords and every other dark druid and warlock creature, in utilizing their resources so that they can help them gain their own resources, and giving other alien conquerors a chance and a power to position themselves in this ancient war, so that they can take control and conquer humanity, to which they benefit as well, crucially. But they don't actually show they hanged in the event, because they play behind the shadows of the entire sacred universe and the rest of the sacred great nation, to which the members of the Universal Magic Heroes have always suspected that there is a deadly ancient force known as the Shadow Witches, and they've been highly active for many too long, and that it's time for them to fight them straight away. And the leader of the Shadow Witches tells the other members not to do anything reckless that will draw any suspicion, any attention, showing that she's a powerful figure and she's very respected, and she's very, very, very highly disciplined in power, and in also taking the leadership of the group itself in a more extreme, serious measurement, knowing that they must keep their cards right and play the game rules in a dark, right way that will benefit them very crucially as well. Well, that's it for today's episode, guys. I all hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Shadow Witches. Just warm and stay safe. Appreciate your support, guys. Love you so much. Take care of yourself and also keep pushing and keep going forward no matter what, and stay warm and stay safe. As you can see, guys, I'm completely warm, but now I'm gonna go upload and write more on our new app, on our new villains, supernatural creatures. Please tell your friends and family to like and subscribe to Billy Yo's channel in YouTube and in TikTok. Will hopefully mean a lot to him. But as I said before, guys, I appreciate your support and I love it, and I'm very quietly grateful for it. Have a blessed day. Stay happy and stay blessed and stay strong and keep pushing. You guys got this. I believe in you as you believe in me. So let's keep pushing and let's stay strong. Bye. See you tomorrow on Wednesday. Yeah, bye.